Hey everybody, this is TotalGamerJunkie. I want to welcome you all back to my channel. So in today's video, I want to be talking about the Life is Strange universe and whether or not we can get the possibility, or have the possibility, of getting a Life is Strange comic series where Max sacrifices Chloe to save Arcadia Bay. Now, I know a lot of you would prefer a game. I would too, like a game where it shows what happens with Max and Chloe after the events of the first game. That would be pretty cool, but sadly, that's not going to happen since Dortnoid is finished with Max and Chloe's story. And I really think what they should have done is for Life is Strange, they should have made 9 episodes, and then after episode 5, depending on whether you sacrificed Chloe or sacrificed Arcadia Bay, continue the game off from there. That would be pretty cool. And on another subject of episodes, why don't episodic games have 9 episodes? Because like in some TV shows, the seasons finish on 9 because 9 is the Chinese symbol of completion. So it would make sense to have 9 episodes for a season, wouldn't it? Or is that just me? Well, anyways, I'll make a video and get into that later. But right now, we're here to talk about the possibility of the comic. Now, let's face it, alright. I know a lot of you, some of you like the comic, some of you hate it, and I like the comic, okay? Because hopefully we get Pricefield back, because after issue 4, me, and I know a lot of you were pissed off about how that ended, finally getting Pricefield only to have Max leave, and go into another timeline where the Amber Price is a thing. But hopefully, with the way stuff is happening in the comics of Arc 2 of Life is Strange Waves, Chloe is going to be able to get the memories from the alternate timeline. Hopefully, her and Max can end up together. Fingers crossed. I mean, that's obviously what's going to happen. I already made a video about this. I'm 100% positive she's going to get her memories back, but we won't find out what happens until the third arc, which will obviously be either late this year or early next year. Now, the reason I want this to be a comic, because if you look at fanfiction, there isn't really a lot of fanfic that focuses on Max's life if she decides to sacrifice Chloe to save Arcadia Bay. I mean, the closest one that we do have is a fanfic called The Lights of Arcadia Bay, which is a fanfic I love, by the way. It does have Chasefield shipping, and I'm Pricefield all the way, but this is the only fanfic where I'm like, alright, yeah, I ship Chasefield, this is pretty cool. And it's got over 100 chapters, and it's just an amazing work of art. I'll leave a description in the link below, and I recommend you all should read it. Okay, so, let's face it. The comic series is going good and strong, but how long does it have? Well, I believe that we have at least a dozen more arcs. Look at The Walking Dead, for example. That's just finished. It finished on issue 190, 92 or 93. And I've only read 3 volumes. Well, not volumes, the condominiums. I've read those, and after the third one, I wasn't reading them anymore because I was like, oh, I'll get around to it when I get around to it. And now that to find out that it's actually ended that is just pretty amazing. I still can't believe it went on for so long. I believe it started 2013. So yeah, I can see this comic series going on for at least a few years. But I really do want to get another comic series with Max and how she deals with the choice of sacrificing Chloe to save Arcadia Bay. Now, the way I see it, if this were to happen, the setting would be a year later, I believe. Sorry, I'm getting tongue-tied here. But it wouldn't be set in Arcadia Bay. I believe it would be set in Seattle, and it would have a focus on Max's 2 friends she met there, Kristen and Ferdinand, I believe it is. Fernando? Kirsten? No. Kirsten and Fernando, I believe it is. Yeah, Kirsten and Fernando, I'm pretty sure. If I'm wrong, sorry. Because that would be pretty interesting, because we don't really know much about them, and even in this new series, we don't know much about them either. So I'd very much like to find out what type of people they were, what how Max met them, what they did. You can see from a few photos and what Max mentions. But it's hardly anything at all. I wouldn't say it's like a knowledge fountain. Basically, you hardly know anything. So another thing is we could also learn about Max's parents. I personally would love to find out more about them because let's face it, we hardly know anything about them. They did have a cameo in Before the Storm, but they didn't even talk. They were just there. It was stupid, really. And I gotta say to them, what kind of dicks were they? Like Chloe's dad died. They're at the funeral, and they make Max leave with them to go to Seattle. It's like, wouldn't you wait until the funeral ends? I mean, show some fucking common courtesy at least. I mean, your daughter's best friend's father's just died. Wait till the coffin's in the ground. Wait till the funeral's over. Jesus. So yeah, so for them, like, I hate her parents for that because, like, kind of, let's face it, was a dick move. It was unacceptable. I mean, it's not just for Chloe. You wouldn't do that to anyone. You shouldn't. Anyways, moving on from that, I can get into that. Like, I've still got another 10 minutes about Max's parents. I can still dog on them, but no, we're gonna focus on this. We're gonna focus on this alleged comic series that may or may not happen. So I believe that this Max she would still be herself basically, but I don't think she would be as interested in photography as she used to be, because let's face it, like the time travel and the photos after everything she did, she wouldn't want to. I could see her, because I don't know how the power of photography works. Like when because as we know, she uses a flash camera, so when she clicks the camera, we got, what do you call it? It's instant. Oh, what an instant camera basically takes a picture of something and the photo comes out instantly. And I just realized I said power of photography. I meant Max's power over the photograph, because if you remember I'm sure everyone remembers, towards the end of episode 3, Max is looking at the photo that Joyce gave her, and Max discovered that she was able to travel back into her past body using the photo. Now, how does this apply? Does does this happen to any photograph, to be exact? For example, if she's taking photos on her phone, could she use the photo on the phone to jump back in time? Could she have a laptop, for example, and takes a picture of herself? Could she use that to travel back in time? I don't think so. I believe that this power is strictly correlated to instant camera photographs and nothing else. Another thing is, I think this Max would be, after everything she experienced with Chloe, I think she'd be a little more brave, because we actually see this in the beginning. She cannot. She's like this shy girl. Well, she's not shy, but she doesn't really stick up for herself when Victoria is bullying her. And then as the game progresses, well, not just Victoria, Taylor and Courtney as well, they're picking on her. And as the game progresses, you can actually stand up to Victoria. It's in episode 4. You can call her a bitch and tell her to go fuck herself, or go fuck herself, to be exact. Even when episode 5 happens, when you use the photograph to go back in time, you tell Jefferson you can go, your class is hella bullshit, which I thought was pretty funny, and which is to be understandable. I mean, he's a dark, disturbed individual. Let's face it. They should call him Jeff or shit. And it's at that scene, whether or not you're actually nice to Victoria and warn her about the dark room or not, determines what you'll say to her. And Chloe can just go, and Max can just go up to Victoria. I can see you kissing ass, nothing else new, and she completely destroys Victoria in that conversation, which I just loved. And even with Taylor, you can actually blame her for Kate trying to commit suicide, or if she does kill herself, you can be like, you're the reason that Kate's up there, you got her killed, And same thing, you can also blame Victoria as well. Sorry, something in my throat. So, anyways, moving on, like, I believe that Max's parents would at some point be worried about her because Max would still be herself, but I doubt she'd ever, like, because she has friends, but, you know, since Chloe's her best friend, like, you could see that no one can replace her, essentially. And I believe that Max won't be as well. She will be friendly, but she won't be as fun as she used to be, if she ever had fun at all back then. Because you know, Max wasn't really the type of person to go. Is like if you compare Max and Chloe together, they're opposites. Basically, where Chloe is the outgoing one, Max is more of the shy one who prefers to stay inside. Basically, I mean, they're both so opposite, except at times they're so alike. You know what I mean? Well, I guess opposites attract, so you know. So because I do think that Max, like, I wouldn't mind seeing Max fighting with her parents. I think that would be pretty cool to see. Just like maybe she blames them for moving to Arcadia Bay. Probably blames them for the funeral stuff too. Like, and I wouldn't mind seeing, because if you know, as we know, Max can play the guitar, so I think it'd be pretty cool maybe if we see Max go through like a punk phase like Chloe did. I mean, not as severe as Chloe, but still something. Like maybe instead of her guitar, she actually gets like a proper guitar, and like she could make like rock music or something like that. Because that'd be pretty interesting. Because that would be pretty cool. Because Max can play the guitar, and would and she is creative, so it'd be pretty cool. It wouldn't surprise me if this would actually happen. I for one would just love to see that happen. And maybe she could have her own own band, you know, Max and the Time Lords or something like that. Because let's face it, if you remember, I think it was Tammy was the leader of the High Seas band. Well, she is still the leader in, what's it called? In the Life is Strange Dust and Waves comics. And who's to say that Max couldn't form a band as well? I mean, I doubt she'd be the leader, but she could end up being a guitarist for him. Now that would be pretty cool. But if it were a game, it'd be. I think I'd much prefer it being a. What's up with my throat? Seriously. I gotta start taking drinks before I ever start recording. Anyway, I was gonna say I think it would be cool if we got a game that's based off Max who sacrificed Chloe to save Arcadia Bay, and we could see her go through her grief and loss and learn to accept that she had to do what she had to do. Because really, for me personally, the ending where we sacrifice Chloe to save Arcadia Bay is more left open than what you do when you choose to sacrifice Arcadia Bay to save Chloe. Because like you know, it's a bittersweet thing. Both of the endings really are. Where if you choose to save Chloe, then her and Max are driving out of Arcadia Bay, and we know, based off the comic, we know where they're going. But since the comic isn't technically canon, it's just one of many possibilities. We can be 100% sure that they went to Seattle, obviously. But what they're doing there right now, we have no idea. Now, in the ending where we choose to let Chloe die, at the funeral, Max sees the butterfly that gave her her powers, and that's kind of cryptic. There, what is the butterfly meant to be? Is the butterfly meant to be Chloe, basically? Is the butterfly there to let her know that she passed some type of cosmic universal test or whatever? Is the butterfly signifying that she can go back and rewind time and save things? I don't know, but there has to be some significance here because I don't know. And then like it just shows after she's looks at the butterfly, you see her look up at the camera and she smiles, and that's it. So obviously of the three choices, it would have to mean that that butterfly is Chloe, which is ridiculous, but alright. Because I'd like for it in the game to see like maybe if you do wing choices for Max, you could make her go downhill, start drinking or smoking in that, or you can choose to keep Max the way she is. I think that would be pretty cool. Well, anyways, that's really all I have to say about this. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, and also in the description I'll be leaving a link to that fanfic I talked about, The Lights of Arcadia Bay. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one. This is TotalGamerJunkie, signing off.